We are reading source excerpts on the topic of incorporation. You can also send questions and find the study materials in the tab in the Your Vote system. This is excerpt number 4 from BAM-SH. The world was created filled with so many people, each with his own thoughts and opinions, and all are present in the same world. It is so, deliberately so, that each person and everyone will be incorporated in all of one's friends' thoughts. Thus, when one repents, there will be benefit from this incorporation. It is so because when one wants to repent, he must sentence himself and the entire world to the side of merit, since he himself is incorporated in all the foreign notions and thoughts of the entire world. Again, the world was created filled with so many people, each with his own thoughts and opinions. All are present in the same world. It is so, deliberately so, that each and everyone will be incorporated in all of one's friends' thoughts. Thus, when one repents, there will be benefit from this. It is so because when one wants to repent, he must sentence himself and the entire world to the side of merit, since he himself is incorporated in all the foreign notions and thoughts of the entire world. Good morning, Rob. We heard in the article that humans have many thoughts and views, but what happens in reality is, because of the opinions, different opinions that everyone has, there's hatred between people. There's tension and hatred between people because they each think differently. Question is, where's it going? If there's a chance that people will respect someone else's opinion instead of hating. Respect meaning to see the person who is different, has a different view, and still it's his view, it's his right to have a different view. I respect him with his view. I don't have to accept his view. I can listen to it though and respect it, or even don't respect it, but not to hate him. That there's really hatred created between people. I feel that people are hateful towards each other because of their opinions. Just literally hatred, because each one thinks differently from the other. But how does it create such a hatred for us? It's the reason for our differences of opinion, and then it turns out that in this way no one stands the other. Is there a chance for it to be solved ever, or we're going to after we see how bad we are, each and every one of us? Yes, without any relation or connection to the others. Meaning, I look at the whole world and I see myself as the king of the whole world. If we discover this, that this is our nature, through this recognition of evil, we will want to change ourselves, and then we will achieve correction. Thank you very much. Yes, use opening is recognition of evil, like opening the eyes one time and it stays, or it renews each time it's renewed each time. How is it possible to renew this recognition each time? It depends on how I work on myself, how I work on others, how I connect with them, receive the connection, open command, and accordingly it's revealed to me, and this happens through the connection in the 10. Yes, thank you. Yes, it says here that sorry, same thing happens to me. I don't know what happens to me today. I was at hospital, still influenced by that just a moment. Sorry, I got some anesthetics and it's really influenced me till today. Sorry. Friends, typically doesn't happen to me, but I guess part of what the Creator gives us. So if I try to delve into this, I'll try to restore it if you allow me. Okay, another time. Yes, he says there that to reach a response he needs to sentence himself in the world to the scale of merit. I also have to judge the Creator to a scale of merit. Yes or no, it doesn't really matter, but there are states where how can you always judge to the scale of merit? Sometimes you see that the whole world is collapsing. How can you judge to a scale of merit in such a state? I don't know, but if we say that this world has no right to exist, it is so bad that let it disappear in its present form. He said that a person needs to sentence the world to a scale of merit. My question is, internally, does the world refer to concealment, but that we are supposed to go above the concealment and see the Creator is good that does good? Like now we're at a war, it seems like Everything's bad here in Israel, but we have to transcend the concealment and see the Creator as good that does good. And if it is so, is that what it means to see the world, to shift the world to a scale of merit? Yes, thank you. There are no questions. Nice, okay. Will continue, he writes here, that each and everyone should be incorporated in the thoughts of his friend. Yes, difference between intellectual incorporation and an emotional incorporation. We have many forms of incorporation. The main one is emotional incorporation between everyone. Yes, in relation to incorporation here. From the previous lesson, there's this feeling like from the depth of the lesson, the only way that I feel to connect to the teacher is incorporating with the desires and lacks that the friends have. And what I wanted to ask, I've noted that sometimes the qualities of the friends actually bother me in this incorporation, meaning external qualities cause rejection and prevent feeling of the deficiency of a friend, and it's hard to kind of clean this up and focus on this specifically in the lesson where you can enter into what's happening here. So what I wanted to ask really is whether this is the focal point of this incorporation that has to happen here, incorporating with the lacks of their friends in relation to other things. I don't know, opinions, thoughts, qualities at least, that is good to reach incorporation as you point out. Yes, if possible, are with your permission. I'm also from those who are excited. Yesterday my friend, our dear friend, Money, got married. He married Anna to a wife, and I wanted to update you that Money is married, strong on the path, our real friend. So congratulations to Money, to his success. Usually when we talk about incorporation, then it's kind of like I need to incorporate within what I identify a question from a little different direction. If I have a friend in the group that has a great pain and I kind of want to help him to deal with this pain, meaning through this incorporation to take some of his pain upon myself, how do you do this action of incorporation so I could draw closer to him first and foremost, draw closer through all kinds of actions, and afterward when you see what exactly is the root of his problem, so then you can select how to keep going, whether to construct friendships with him and accordingly divide his amount of pain, or you go together with him and with some other friends to a broader act where they connected to each other. That's how we do it, meaning let say a friend has sorrow, a great pain in his heart, clothe as much as possible in his form and be as much of a friend to him and kind of create for him a path. Yes, but be careful that you will not be too close to him, that you will not start flowing as he does. How do you incorporate with a friend and not get dragged behind him like you take his qualities in order to advance yourself? Yes, how do you do that? How do you not really start to just receive, just to incorporate with the qualities in order to continue your line, your personal avenue, and not kind of like you're nullifying and completely incorporate and go with him with your eyes shut, or maybe not blindly, but you will need to go after him somewhat in what that you hold on to your direction, but you take forces from his actions. That's something a person can like work out, and it yes, this we're talking about friends in the group towards the purpose of creation. People outside of this path know that's already very hard, and there's a lot of mess in that. Am I naturally incorporated them? When I connect with them, is there certain incorporation, or what is that an operation that doesn't influence your inner vessel? Killer, to continue the same subject, the idea and the connection between us, this incorporation between us depends on the environment between us and the Creator. Yes, and justifying him and longing for him. Yes, how does this work out when you see human suffering? It's human, it's a natural human suffering that's unbearable. No, it's natural suffering that they can go through, where in that you have great corrections. The question is, how do you keep the adhesion with the Creator together with completely identifying with the suffering, not kind of look at it from the side, meaning be in the suffering and in the attention at the same time first, to connect the whole of humanity to the Creator and to the end of correction, and yourself next to the sages, where in such a way you will hold on to your own path by also helping them. And I'll try. I think the advice is, but its implementation sometimes we give the depiction like the analogy of the body. Like if the foot is burnt, there's no other part in the body that says, oh, I know the whole body feels the pain now, and is recruited to support it, yes, and here we're actually saying to do some kind of preceding condition if I understood correctly and connecting to something much greater and then identify with this suffering. Yes, but it's no longer the same like the one that's in the suffering. We need to try it a few times and with many people, and then we'll have a clear opinion. I have nothing else to add. What do you have a whole hour? You always want to ask. Incorporation. I really want to incorporate with desires for spirituality. I seek it in my friends. Sometimes it seems like the friends don't have a desire for spirituality that I can incorporate in whatsoever nice, so you have nothing to leap up for. So they're talking about the look, there's a friend that wakes up every morning 4 hours before the lesson. There's a friend that travels 100 kilometers to the lesson. There's a friend that's in the kitchen all day long, and these I'm not disregarding. These things, they're very nice, like a group of athletes. They come to training every day, and he wakes up 4 hours before this training. He comes to the Olympics. He pays to come to the training. It's nice, but it doesn't seem like something that I should incorporate with. It's not spiritual. It's not something that does anyone want to incorporate with you. That's less important to me. I want to grow with my desire, and they can do what they want. Why isn't it important with for you? That's their desire. I want to advance. I want to come closer to the Creator. That's my desire. That's why I'm here, and I'm seeking people that I can sit together and talk to them about some verse in the study of tea for them to answer me. I'll answer them something spiritual to engage in things that will advance us, instead that they're telling me again about the guy that did a kitchen duty, the guy who woke up early, the guy that's travelling long this the lesson. When I heard those things, they're nice things. I'm not making little out of this, but it's like a group of athletes. They're telling me about their muscles and their Olympics. They're training something, or maybe I'm in the wrong place. Could be that you're in the incorrect place. Think about it. Search for another place. Oh, for years I hear from you the same complaints because nothing's changing, so something needs to stop. You're a good guy, but that's all and nothing more. Tea. Can okay? Yes, thank you. When there's great suffering, what does it mean that the Creator will comfort when there's great suffering? And there is, and the people cannot tolerate it. So then that grants a state where at least some of the people can connect, and in unity they can find themselves truly wishing to progress. Thank you. Can. Yes, for several days we're trying to scrutinize the difference between connection and incorporation. Yes, I understood from you that incorporation is a more advanced stage, maybe a more exalted state. So in an allegory I want you to ask not an allegory, but in a practical way. If I come to connect to a friend, and if I come to incorporate from a friend, what's the difference? What's the result here? What's the result? They're the extent to which each one gives to the other. Also connection, is there something mutual? Could be when I come to connect to a friend, I seek in him the qualities of Israel in him. Can. Yes, and when I come to incorporate from a friend, as I come and feel that also the other side maybe. Yes, meaning incorporation has from the whole range of, let's say, from love to hatred, the whole life that are between this and that. Yes, what is the work with my contradicted relation towards the friend, or attitude towards the friend, both hatred and love and everything that's between this and that? Yes, with love it's clear what to do. With hatred, what do we do? What it's unclear. It's clear that we have to ask, but if it's revealed, it also changes from one friend to another. There's a friend That is more in control into his my attitude towards him, and love and compassion may be another friend. It's the opposite. All kinds of forms of connection exists. It's very complex. It's not clear where the addition of incorporation is and what I take from the friend, because, well, the question is like this: maybe my attitude towards the friend, and there's the friend's attitude towards me, to the extent in which I need to work with my attitude towards friends. Meaning earlier we said saying, I feel like everyone, it's like athletes are doing like this and like that, and I want to advance. So on one hand it's a natural thing. Ego wants to advance upon everything, but my attitude towards the friends needs to change. Yes, so again I don't understand the difference between connection, meaning connection is to some purpose or goal, and incorporation is for a certain goal. What's the difference between the two goals, two purposes? Incorporation is that you have a common place in which you want to bring everyone what they want for connection with others, what he wants from the connection. Yes, meaning that in the connection we collect the desires of the friends, and in the incorporation we collect you can put it that way. Okay, we'll continue. Yes, have to continue the friends' questions about pain and incorporating with their pain. If there's a friend that used to come to the lesson and suddenly stops coming to the lesson, I hear the reason that he doesn't come, and in my opinion it's not sufficient reason not to come. On the other hand, I'm not in his state, and is it here too that, like you said about the pain, that I need to take forces from here to kind of like see the problem in me and to kind of go in my way in order to strengthen even more? Or is it also in another way? Meaning, I don't know what to answer you. I think we'll already do that in the next lesson. Thank you. We're going to move to the next part of the lesson. Friends, going to continue our study now. We're going to continue together, and we're going to read the study of the 10. I know that when we read the study of the 10, we receive the light from everything that Balaam put into it. We take everything that we learned and heard from our in the last lesson, and we'll continue with the same intention and the same direction into listening and studying. The study of the T and the study of Tess is very special. It's a study of both intellect and heart, and we need to yearn now for the light to impact us, and we want to make all the efforts. So we're asking, let's now study all of us really together. So each who has a question, write down the question and raise the question, and whoever can give an answer from what's written in the book. And let's really try now to learn together enough. Go ahead a minute. So we are in the study of 10 part 1 volume 1 chapter 1. We are in the inner light of item 70 in the second paragraph. That starts with now you will understand. Now you will understand the 4 phases that are to be in each emanate being. Because to begin with, the light expands and comes from the emanator in the form of the light, of where the desire to receive is incorporated in it, and this is the first phase. And then in this light intensifies the desire to bestow and extends the light offered. This overcoming is called the second phase, and then the light of expands a great expansion, which will be clarified here. And this is the third phase, and after these 4 phases were revealed in their fulfillment, it returns and awakens the desire to receive, which is incorporated in the first phase, and repeats and extends the light of this is the essence of wholeness, of the permanence of the desire to receive in the P, as it is revealed in the form of yearning, meaning at a time in which there was no light within the but rather light of meaning. After the third phase, in which the emanated being had the reality of yearning for receiving the light of us, this yearning became disclosed in the will to receive and completes his vessels of reception, what was not existent in the first expansion. Hence these vessels of ball are not completed, but rather in this 4th phase, which is also called the second overcoming. And after the wholeness of this 4th phase, in the restriction took place in her which means that the departure of the desire to receive from this fourth phase which caused the departure of the light of in, fern, the four phases of that were discerned then should be in each emanated being were clarified as the first phase is called the first expansion of the light of the second phase is called the first overcoming or the third phase 3 is called the second expansion or and phase 4 is called the second intensification or mal. These two expansions are regarded as males for they are abundance that extends from the emanator. The first expansion is abundance of the light of and the second expansion is abundance of light of. These two intensifications are regarded as two females for they are an awakening of the emanated being and the intensification of the desire by his own power. The first intensification is the awakening in the emanated being for the will to bestow, which becomes the root for the light of, and the second intensification is the awakening of the emanated being for the will to receive, which becomes the complete vessel of reception in the. It is always referred to as phase 4. Okay, now we're going to listen to a clip of Avi that will remind us about the intention, and we also want to hear that if anyone here wrote in their book from all the years that we've studied this text would be happy to hear what people have written from Rav's words here in their books. So let us watch a clip of a Ravi. Why are we studying? Only in order to draw the reforming light, and then we will change under the influence of the light and the influence of the upper light is called the reforming light, because that is its action, that is it, the act of the light, at it returns us to good from reception to bestow. It draws us from our world of reception to its world, its degree of bestow, and that is what we want to happen. The Kabbalist, our teachers, explained what to do to us, how we can rise above our state from our lowest and darkest place, and that we can rise from that degree to a higher degree of bestow, and that is through the reforming light, because during the study we draw to ourselves the light. Okay, so we read a couple of paragraphs now. Does anyone have something written that he heard that can explain about what we read, or does someone have a question? Maybe can. Yes, it's written for me here that Rob said about this from the four phases of direct light. We can take out all the laws of reality. Thank you. It's been to me from a few years ago. The four stages of development of the desire to do good to created beings, the oppositeness of form and the equivalence of form are the work between the light and their CLE than anyone else. Someone have something from us. Words written in their books, also questions in the world CLE. If someone wants to put up their question mark and participate. Okay, so we're going to continue reading, and then we'll write questions down, and at the end of the except we'll raise questions that rise from what we read. Again, we're going to read about the four phases of direct light, which is the blueprint of reality. Wrote about it here in the preface. There is a big part about it, so seemingly it's something very important for the understanding reality, so we both incorporate in it, and also remember that we do it for our goal to connect more between us. Yes, so you want to add? I have a question, he writes in the middle here in the second column. Here he writes, when there was no light of in the but the light of meaning after this third phase, where the emanated being had the reality to yearn to receive the light of, as this yearning defines in it the desire to receive and completes its vessels of reception. So maybe the question here, why specifically light of, which expands in the whole part, is what grows the yearning for reception. After all, he's doing an act of be, and this intensifies his reception. Specifically, how does that mechanism work? It's an excellent question, thank Warsaw. Let's continue reading, and we'll think about Asaf's questions, and if there are other questions that rise during the reading of the text, please do. So we're going to continue with item 6. In or in a light, from the words this phase 4. This phase 4 is called the middle point in, and it is that which the Ari refers to when he says restricted himself in his middle point. It is called by that name for it is a vessel of reception for the light of N, which is immeasurable and boundless for this reason. It is like a point in the interior and the middle of that light, while the light revolves around it and cleaves to it from all around. Immeasurably only thus can it sustain the appall light, immeasurably and boundlessly. Above, reception after the restriction, and below, meaning in the lower emanated beings there are vessels that hold their light within them in their internality. It means that the walls of the vessels, being their four phases, place a boundary and a measurement on the light inside them because of their thickness. However, in where light and vessel are in simple unity, meaning he is one and his name one, the vessel does not limit but light that it holds, hence the light in it is regarded as. And now we have thoroughly explained the issue of the middle point in En. We have shown that it does not refer to a corporal and tangible place and area, but phase 4, which is incorporated in enough, is called by that name to indicate its simple unity with the upper light. Also, the restriction in that middle point has already been explained above. KS questions that rise from what we read. Okay, so let's discuss the question that Asaf raised. He raised a question. We'll try to repeat the question correct me if I'm mistaken, as we have here the third phase in which there's the light, or which expands in the third phase, and why the question is why specifically from the expansion of light of does the yearning for come. Yes, that's how you asked. Yes, in other words, how from the third phase do we turn into the fourth phase? Please let's discuss this in the tense. Why is it that specifically from the yearning or the being filled with light of is the yearning for the light of born? Why is the phase for coming out of the phase 3? Please, why from phase 3 comes phase 4? It's from that in which the desire always feels itself as wishing to. I think we feel it as a yearning and a new channel that we think that through our efforts, but above reason, our forces, we can somehow incorporate. Yes, I heard today in the lesson that it is possible to incorporate in sensation, and it's also possible to incorporate in intellect and emotion. So if we feel that mercy, meaning as I feel it is an awakening to be with high spirit, to be with a desire to connect with the friends, so being in joy, it is a certain kind of one of these concepts that the Kabbalists write to us about. So feeling it is executing it between us, and then accordingly we will go through that feeling of the light of it. Appears to me that we're in a good place, in a good connection with the Creator, and we feel all that in good wisdom, in the wisdom of the qualities of the Creator. After phase 3 gets coming, there's a yearning, but not on the level that she can invite the next degree. She doesn't have that power. That's why the next half degree kind of comes from itself at the expense of it, like she receives not from her own forces but from the upper force, and that's why they can be connected between them. Already I don't want to talk about what I don't understand, but what I do know clearly is that I feel that I am sitting with Bassam next to this table, and it's something very special. The desire to receive requires being complimented, completed, and then when there's a yearning, there's a desire to receive the light and to receive all of this reality, all of creation, all of the Creator as help. So that's how it opens. That simply cause the desire to receive, to yearn more, and to want the light of, and then there's a completion to the desire to receive when the yearning comes for the light of Ad, and this awakening comes for the light of. Then we know why it comes. The third phase already he has a certain discernments from the expansion of the and the desire to want to be similar to the Creator, to the emanator, and then this combination, this incorporation between these two kinds of light in the third phase creates a yearning to rest, to discover the desire in true ball. It seems to be that's how it happens. Maybe that boundary is what causes it to break through. What I identify is that opens a search from where the light comes from, and kind of what grows in us is this yearning from a true need. Yes, what else can we add that? Really in the light of enters, and that is wholeness. Hess, how is that executed in the desire to receive it's from the reforming light, and in that's what we want to reach. That is what we yearn for, to that wholeness of the state, from connection between us and with the creature from all sides. We will have no more questions, and that is the end where the third phase enters. The fourth phase, yes, we will be glad now if there's a certainty that has the certain kind of a clarity that they have to the answer to this question. We'll be happy to hear also in the world. See what is that transition, yes, why specifically being filled with causes the yearning for please. P8, I think that the light of ad has this yearning for bestow, and then it understands that it has no strength for that it needs the light of in order to bestow, and that is it. That is this desire to bestow, and it needs the force of the creator, the light of in order to bestow. Yes, thank you. Complete M's answer. When the light of expands in a tle, it gives the feeling in the vessel, the desire of the light, and the desire of the light is to fill the cle, and what can it fill? The cle only with the light of actually, of the emanator, to fill the cle with the light, meaning the expansion of actually gives the sea to feel what the upper desire is, and then it gives birth to the fourth phase that wants to receive the nice. So the expansion of the light of ad brings the created being the desire, and the understanding that it wishes to receive the light of, and what advances the process is the feeling of the giver. This is what makes it happen. Yes, more friends want to add from these insights. We have Mosso one, please. Yes, I want to thank the friends who are guiding our lesson. Now when the subject and the carrier are in one, then the receiver begins to feel a deficiency. Thank you, ours. When they receive there of the pleasure of bestowing to the creator, so the created being also which is feels that it also wishes to enjoy, but it can enjoy only by receiving the light, and that is the matter of equivalent form. Thank you, Bal. 3. Hello, friends. World, in order to bestow something you need to receive, otherwise we don't have the light of. That's why we need to receive the light of, so that by that we will be able to delight the creator. Thanks, Baller. 3. We're going to freshen up with a clip from our Remember about the intention, and then AIT. Prepare yourself to read at the end of the 5th page at the bottom there. We'll read that excerpt so we learn more why we learn. In the end of correction, we are all in the upper place, meaning we have all, each of us, reached his root, and all of us together to one root. And I identify myself in such a manner. Let's say like this. Let's say I, my soul, in relation to the rest of all of the souls. Yes, now. Because the correction is that I will connect with all the rest of the parts of in one body, just as in us each and every cell is connected to one body, and the health of the whole body depends on each and every cell, and every cell in our body does not include other exist other than in order to give to all the rest of the cells what they need from her, because if she begins to receive more than to sustain herself and to give to everything to the others, she's called a cancer cell. So if I come to a state in which I'm operating fully for the benefit of their body, I acquire from this whole body deficiencies I want to give to you, and to you, and to you, and to you, and to you. So I take from everyone their deficiencies, meaning I, in place of my point, become this whole circle, the whole of in accordance with the locks. But then I will correct these deficiencies in order to bestow, so my entire Adam becomes I, and against that was corrected. So this whole CLE begins to be filled with light and becomes to be refined, so it becomes I as the creator, and this formula is called the end of correction. Okay, so before we start reading, we want to point that we're studying about the 4 phases of direct light, and now we're going to get an additional discernment. Let us freshen up on our discernments on the 4 phases themselves. In these 4 phases he's talking, we'll hear now about these 2 expansions and 2 overcoming, and we'll try to understand what those expansions and overcoming are in the end of page 5, in the end, where we'll begin with Here it's been clarified these four phases in their expansion. The first expansion, the light of the second phase, is called the first overcoming, or Bina. The third phase is called the second expansion, and the fourth phase is called the second overcoming, or these two expansions are called the Tur males, meaning the abundance from the emanator, because the first expansion is the light of the second expansion is the abundance of the light. Of these two overcoming are the two females, meaning the awakening of the emanated and the overcoming of the desire from its own force, as the first intensification is the awakening of the emanated being for the welt, bestow, which becomes the root for the light of, and the second intensification is the awakening of the emanated being for the welter, receive, which becomes the complete vessel of reception in the and its complete. This phase is referred to as phase 4. Thanks, Amit. So now what we want to do is ask a question you just be enjoying. So the question is this: what is the difference between an expansion and an overcoming or intensification? What is the difference between expansion and overcoming or intensification? Yes, so in light of the text we just read right now, the question we're going to ask is what's the difference between intensification and expansion, and we'll discuss this in our tense now. Please, expansion is the expansion of the vessels in the connection with through that they connect to the upper light and then they receive the light of, and overcoming is when they develop this mutual vessel for that I want you to receive all that rights. Overcoming is on the behalf of the vessels, on behalf of the deficiencies, and expansion is on behalf of the right, the fulfillment, the abundance. The creator expansion is the attitude of the creator to the created being, and the intensification is where the created being begins to define its attitude, its response to the expansion of the light upon it. These are two opposite things, but essential for the construction of the vessel. Expansion is the expansion of the light inside the desire, and everything is towards the desire, and the overcoming of the desire toward the light to construct the correct attitude toward the bestow for that expansion of the light, in order to be able to construct a correct vessel and determine our space and a boundary. Expansion is what the CLE feels from the attitude of the creator towards him, and intensification is already what the CLE gives in its attitude towards the creator. This is something that it already enters for himself or responds towards the creator. I also heard that the more developed state is one of a search of the created being toward the creator for the creator. Where am I influenced by the giver? And could be that a common request and a desire for us to feel it, but inside us will help it become formulated within us. The way I understand it, expansion is, in order to feel him we need equivalence of form, the expansion of the light, and the equivalence of form we feel him, and intensification is constant feeling and overcoming the upper light from the will to receive that disturbs the expansion towards him in equivalence of form. Really, expansion is that the vessels give each and every one of itself the desire for connection in order to construct the single vessel, and overcoming or intensification is to reach equivalence of form with that light. Please connect us in order to receive the reforming light, so that we will have in us the wisdom to bring to the whole world, and how to lead them to the greatness of their greatness. What else can we add? Very simply, overcoming is the will to receive, and expansion is the will to bestow. In the previous page, he writes, the awakening of the emanated being from its own self in wanting to be in equivalence with its emanator, because that's why it overcomes and becomes closer to the desire to bestow. With that question, another question, we'll take that question with us. Really a big thank you for the privilege to be with the whole world clean now in this study, and certainly we will also continue now. We have reports duty. Yes, so friends, today is Friday 11th of October. We're going to be in Why in the Day of Atone today. Why Today let's go over some of the rules. And schedule. Note that after the lesson right now will not a fuse. Meal. Some of our friends by custom go to the ocean to dip from 11 to 11:40. There will be the news program. With Rav there will be a recorded program at 11. There will be a virtual noon lesson from 1:30 to 2:30. There will be our meal. After the meal there will be no longer broadcast throughout the day. So our friends in world, we're going to be sending after lessons recommendations to study materials and workshops. The friends in Israel will continue according to the local schedule that I will detail now. At 5 there will be a light buffet, and at 5:30 to the fast begins. 5:30 to we will begin the prayer. Whoever remains in the building, there is place this room for everyone. Everyone's invited, both men and women. On Saturday 5:30 to 8 there will be a discussion here in the building. On the day of it there will be no broadcasts, and you won't be able to use phones here either for Zoom or any connection to other discussions. For those who speak different languages, there will be translation, simultaneous translation on the spot here from 8 to 9. We'll have the prayer from 4 to 6. There will be another conversation here that's not broadcasted, and from 6 to 648 we will have prayer, and we will lock it. The fast ends at 6:48. At 648 to 7:30 we'll have about to break the fast, and at 7:30 to 8:30 we'll have the white meal for BAM, which will be broadcasted and translated to all the languages and all the ages. It will take place physically here in the building and open to all ages, where all the information I just said will be sent to everyone, has been sent, and will be sent again.